out? What if I'm a Christian and I just kind of feel, I don't know, kind of bored, or kind of just, my faith just isn't exciting anymore? All right, and I think that's a real question that people have. What do I do if I don't sense this newness that God is calling me into, that the Bible is sharing with me? Well, let's look to, I've been referencing this a little bit lately, Revelation chapter 2. We have John receiving a word from Jesus to 7 churches. And the first church, I think, probably looks a lot like the American church in a lot of ways. And I want this to guide us this morning. Jesus is sharing his thoughts about a church in Ephesus. Wouldn't it be interesting to see what Jesus would have to say about Emmanuel Church? Part of me would love it, and there's another part of me that would be kind of scared to hear what he would have to say. But let's hear what Jesus is saying to Ephesus, and let's apply it to us as Emmanuel Church. I'm not talking about the Church of America. I'm talking about us, Emmanuel Church, 9511 West Broadway. These are the words of him who holds the 7 stars in his right hand. I'm starting in verse 1 of chapter 2. The angel of the Church of Ephesus write, "These are the words of him who holds the 7 stars in his right hand and walks among the 7 golden lampstands. I know your deeds, your hard work, and your perseverance. I know that you cannot tolerate wicked people, that you have tested those who claim to be apostles but are not, and have found them false. You have persevered and have endured hardship for my name and have not grown weary." Whoa, all right. This church is actually doing pretty well, it sounds like. I mean, Jesus is telling them all the things that they're doing well. I mean, they're persevering, they're not tolerating wickedness, they're testing those who claim to have authority, and they are finding them false. They are persevering and enduring hardship. Wow, on paper, the Church of Ephesus is kicking butt, right? Yes, that's the kind of church I want to be right there. Verse 4, "Yet I hold this against you. You have forsaken the love you had at first." One thing you can't do is say, "Well, Jesus, what about all the good stuff I did?" That's not how it works. Because there's something that they're missing. It's key. Their love for Jesus. "You have forsaken the love you had at first. Consider how far you have fallen. Repent and do the things you did at first. If you do not repent, I will come to you and remove your lampstand from its place." I'm going to end right there. All right, so Jesus is highlighting the things that are good, but he's calling out the most pivotal part of their relationship with Jesus, love for him. Okay, let's apply that criticism to us. How is our love for Jesus going? How are we loving Jesus? Is it just, a Sunday morning kind of thing? We just sang, "Be thou my vision." I love that phrase, "Thou art my best thought by day or by night." We spent all day, I don't know about you, but I think all day long, and most of my thinking is just fluff, or it's self-focused. But I think that hymn is true. The best thing I can possibly think about in my day is Jesus Christ, my best thought. What were you like when you first experienced that earthquake, that ground-shaking movement of salvation? What were you like? What did you do? Well, I'll tell you one of the big moments in my life was when I was in high school, 16, 17, 18 years old. I was driving, and my parents, they started kind of treating me like an adult, which is great. That was really fun. And I got to go to, I drove myself to church I chose my own church. I didn't always go with my parents. I went to a different church. But it was a moment in my life, a season where God was moving in my heart. In a lot of ways, he was revealing his love for me. And, my response to that was I was giving my love right back to God. So my question is, what does that look like? How do you show your love to God? Well, I'll tell you what I did. I was writing poems. I still have these. I was writing poems to God, a 16, 17-year-old boy writing poems to God, telling God how much I loved him. I haven't written a poem in a long time. The last poem I wrote, I think, was for Leah. That's what you do when you are in love. What do you do when you are in love? It doesn't have to look like me. But it is, like Janelle was saying, an action. It is putting yourself in a situation, a position to express your love. And it could be a song. It could be writing a song. It could be writing a letter. It could be however you express yourself. I don't quite have a lot of illustrations there for you. But how do you show your love? How do you show your love to your spouse? You know, there's that book, The 5 Love Languages. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of that book, but anyway, it's an interesting book in the sense that people receive love in a unique way. So whatever way you like to receive love, why don't you use that way to show God your love? Maybe it's just time spent with God, just talking with him. That's what we do. And friends, we are given this revelation in the book of Revelation about not neglecting our first love. Guys, we can't miss this. We cannot miss this. We have to go back to the way we were. There's something about a new baby Christian that is so right and so true that sometimes we just skip right over it and we move on to the deep theological things. And those things are good. Those things are fine. But we cannot miss this point. What did you do at first?